goggles, bitches. It's time for some pop goulash theory. This week, hi everybody, it's me, Ruben. And this week, I have a friend of mine that I met over the summer, who is one half of the Bradlingtons, as they are known. They are part of the Single Podcast Theory. It's an all Pearl Jam podcast. One of my favorite podcasts to listen to. I really look forward to every Monday when it downloads, and I suggest you do too, because there's a great dynamic between these two guys. And I call them, well, I don't call them, somebody else deemed them the Bradlingtons, because both of them are named Brad. So on the line, and it's going to sound like he's across the chair from me, but he's not. He's actually recording in Tennessee tonight. I have Brad Lyons. It's not Brad Lyons. Brad Lyons is just busy. I have Brad Blazek on the line. How's it going, Brad?
Hey, man, Ruben, it's good. It's good to hear you.
Yeah, man, it's been, we've been texting back and forth since the show, but
yeah.
But yeah, so you guys have this all Pearl Jam podcast, drops every Monday, and unless, Lyons is too busy doing his I'm a musician thing.
Yeah, he's a little bit busier than me.
Yeah, he's a little bit busier than most people that I know.
Yeah.
So how did this all come about? How'd you guys end up with because the name of your podcast is a take on, I think it was Pearl Jam's first commercial DVD that they put out called the Single DVD Theory, or Single Video Theory.
Single Video Theory, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I can't take credit for that. That was his buddy Clint, who does a Metallica podcast, Metal Up Your Podcast. I met Clint. We went to a Metallica show, and after the show, we got to talking about everything, music-wise, and
Sure.
We started talking about Pearl Jam, and he's like, oh, my buddy, also named Brad, has a Pearl Jam podcast. It's not out yet, but it's going to be. They've done a couple episodes, and they're just trying to bank some more. And I kind of died inside because I'm like, I want to do a Pearl Jam podcast.
Right.
So, cut to a few weeks later, he texted me, hey, Brad's buddy kind of flaked on him, and he needs someone to do the podcast with him. Would you be interested?
Nice.
And I was like, fuck yeah. So
yeah, because you guys are into the hundreds of episodes now?
Not quite 100. I think 77 dropped last week. So yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, because I think you guys started right around the time that I started Pop Goulash, and but because of scheduling issues with me and my former co-hosts and stuff, we just never got our shit together enough to actually record all the episodes, do it weekly.
Yeah, dude,
so,
it is, I'll be honest with you, it is not easy to do it every week.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's
lucky you got Kate Lyons to back up. Or what's Kate? Why do I call her Kate Lyons? Like she's related to Brad. Kate Cotton.
Yeah. Yeah,
sorry,
she's
Kate, if you're listening.
Yeah, she's filled in a couple times for him, and yeah, it's just we love doing it, but it is it can be kind of like a second job sometimes, because
podcasting is totally a second job.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, just in the background of research and stuff like that. So
yeah, because you guys do your homework. That's for damn.
Well, we try.
Like some of the stuff that you come up with, and I thought I was a Pearl Jam fan. Come to find out, I am not a Pearl Jam fan. If, I'm being held to your guys' expectations and standards. There's just no fucking way.
It's funny you say that, because I've had the exact same thought go through my head. Like, I'll go to a show, and there's people there that have been waiting in line for 2 days to get the rail, and they've seen Pearl Jam 80 times. And yeah. I'm like, oh, I thought I was a Pearl Jam fan. Like, these are the true fans. So
yeah, and it's definitely weird when, like, you go to those shows with people that are like, yeah, I've seen these guys 95 times. I'm like, when do you work?
Right.
like I followed Fish around for a little bit in college, and I think I've probably been to like 15 Fish shows, and I think I've seen them more than I've seen anybody else. But
yeah,
you got these dudes that are like, dude, I'm going on tour. I'm like, when do you work?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
seriously. The losers lost, Lebowski. Get a job. Yeah. So we met this summer. Like, I got in touch with you because over the podcast, through the course of the podcast, you guys are like, all right, we're going to Chicago, hell or high water, whether we got tickets or we don't have tickets. We're going to the Wrigley shows this year.
Right.
And it was almost really at the last minute.
Yeah.
My buddy decided to back out on me. And he was like, yeah, I don't feel like hanging out in line waiting for hours and hours and hours to go see him. I'm like, really? Are you kidding me? Like, what else do you have to do on a Saturday that's any better than, like, just hanging out and shooting the shit, you know, while you're waiting to get into the venue? And so I reached out to you. I'm like, dude, I got this ticket. It's yours if you guys want it. And you were like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Expectedly. So, and then there was like that crazy debacle with, well, will the ticket work? Won't it work? Because he accepted the ticket and then changed his mind. And luckily, a little pro tip for everybody out there: if somebody accepts a digital ticket and ends up not being able to take it, have them take a screenshot of the ticket barcode. You could totally get in.
Yep.
It totally worked out. So you guys came up early for those shows. Yeah?
Yes, we came up. What was it? Was it the night before? Yeah, the night before show number 1. We came up.
Right. That's the one that I went to with you guys.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we came up and we actually we got to our luxurious hotel and it smelled like a dead body. Checked in, got down to Wrigleyville, and we stepped out of the cab, and it was they were sound checking.
Nice.
We could hear them, and we were like walking towards Murphy's with with the strains of Pearl Jam like right over the wall. It was just like, nice. This is like the greatest moment ever.
Totally. So what were they? Do you recall what they were sound checking?
You know what? If I let me
wasn't
look.
It Wash?
No, it was something off of. Let's see. I got it right here in front of me. Sound check was Gonna See My Friend.
Oh, okay. And they ended up doing. No, they did not do that.
I don't think they did.
No, I don't think they did.
But I just
cool. See. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just remember like, oh, that's not something you hear every day at a live show, and I'm like, this is gonna be fucking crazy.
Right. I think when I saw him on the Backspacer tour, they did that, but I didn't see him in Chicago. I actually went down to Noblesville, Indiana, to the former Deer Creek Amphitheater and saw him down there.
Oh, okay, dude, you've been to some fucking like epic shows.
I have been to, I mean,
Soldier Field, the Ice Bowl,
been there.
These Wrigley shows. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. It's just by crazy happenstance.
Yeah.
So, but the Ice Bowl show, that was unlike anything that I'd ever experienced.
Yeah.
Like never ever in my life. Like I've been to shows where it's gotten a little chilly in the evening, but this was like, it was 30 degrees out that night.
Right. I couldn't imagine, because like today, we've gotten some pretty cold weather here the last couple days, and we were walking around today, and I'm like, it is fucking cold out. I could not imagine being at a show, and it's this cold. I mean,
you also were having like it was Tennessee cold, so you were probably in the 50s.
No, it was cold today. It was probably 30, 35.
All right, yeah, okay. All right, I'll give you a pass on that.
Well, dude, you gotta realize I grew up in Mundelein, so I'm used to. I do know what cold is.
Oh yeah, but once you start moving a little south of the Mason-Dixon line, you start getting a little acclimated to the weather.
Yeah.
Like my in-laws have a condo down in Florida, and when it gets to be like 50 after they've been there for a week and a half, I'm like, really?
Yeah,
come on, dude, it ain't that cold. So. But yeah, so just, because I've talked about the Ice Bowl a couple times, but if this is your first time dropping into the to the show because you found out that Brad was on it and you're going to listen to it. The Ice Bowl was October 9th of 2000 at Alpine Valley up in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, East Troy, Wisconsin. And it literally was 30 degrees out for the entire show.
Man.
And I want to say, I don't even remember who opened for him on that tour
at all. I don't know.
Yeah. But it was fucking cold.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievably cold. And how they were able to play their guitars, in that kind of temperature, I have no idea.
Yeah.
At all. But one of my favorite quotes of the night was Eddie got onto the mic and he's like, the last time we played here was the hottest fucking day that we've ever played. And he's like, we'll never play this fucking place again.
Right.
Well, here we are.
Yeah.
And I think he also made mention that it was the coldest bottle of wine he ever drank.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was a crazy show. I had mentioned it before on one of my earlier episodes that it was the only time I've ever gone to a concert where they had intentionally started selling hot chocolate just to,
right.
to have another warm beverage in your hand.
Yeah, yeah.
So we ended up. I drove into the city the day of the show, which was the Saturday night show.
Yeah.
In July. Was it July? Yeah, it was July.
Yeah.
Dude, I got like.
No. This was August.
It was August. That's right. I got two kids, man. It's
2013. 2013 was July.
Okay, yeah, the one that I got shut out of and got pissed off. So, and 2016 as well. I'm not bitter at all. So I ended up driving up to the city. I got my got a parking spot and ended up meeting you guys. It wasn't at Murphy's. Where was that first bar where I met you?
No, is it Sluggers?
Sluggers, that's right. So I met you guys at Sluggers.
Yeah.
And here I am. Like, I had never met you guys
right.
before, like, in person. Didn't know what you looked like because, like, even on your Facebook page at that point, there weren't a whole lot of pictures of you and Lions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have no idea who I'm looking for. And I'm like, you and I are texting back and forth, or maybe it was me and Lions texting back and forth. And we're like, because you guys were in the back part of the bar.
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck are these guys? And there you go. You're, finally somebody looked over and I think it was you must have seen me just standing there completely confused, not knowing what the hell was going on. So then you guys waved me over, and then from there on out, like, we were concert buddies for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I got to tell you, like, Lions is like he really wanted to be on the show. He's like, we're definitely going to do it someday. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is there will always be opportunities. For us to all get back together again.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so what had ended up happening was Brad Lyons ended up getting the ticket because it had been he said 20 years since he'd seen Pearl Jam last.
Yeah.
And he'd only seen them once before.
Yeah, I think this was his second. I think it was second or third. I think you're right. I think it was his second show ever.
I think he said it was his second show ever.
Yeah.
So then we hung out, and Brad's sober, so he was just drinking water. I bought you a tall boy of PBR.
I was not sober that. I was not sober that night.
No, you were not. You were not.
And it's funny because I am not a big drinker, like, in my normal life, but this was like, I'm on vacation. I'm on Pearl Jam vacation.
Weekend, man.
Yeah. So I had knocked back a few, I think, before you got there, and then you kind of bought me a few more, and so I was having a good time.
Oh yeah, it was a great time, and that's when I met Kate, because Kate was at the table with us.
Yeah.
And dude, she's such a sweetheart. Man.
She is.
Like, she truly is. So I'm glad that I had the opportunity to meet her as well. So you and Kate ended up sitting up in the stands.
Yeah,
and we actually ended up where, once we got in, it was nothing for us to get in. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And we ended up on McCready's side, and we were probably 30 feet from the stage for most of the night.
Wow.
And just because, that was the closest I had ever been to seeing them. Like, even at Soldier Field, like, I was, like, on the rail for Bad Religion.
Oh, wow.
When they came out. And I ended up getting pulled out because I was starting to get crushed. Because, it wasn't a Ross Glide situation, but it was, it was definitely there was some pressure up on the rail.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
dude.
ended up
Those
probably.
I was just gonna say those early shows in the '90s were just pretty fucking intense. I saw them in Fort Lauderdale in '96, and we were on the rail, and when they hit the stage, the place just went crazy, and my wife, she just could not handle it. So I had to
Right.
just get her out of there. And it was pretty rough for first couple songs, just trying to
For sure.
get through the throng of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty intense. And so I ended up probably 50 feet back for most of the show that night, and I want to say maybe it was the night after the Ice Bowl. They played at the Rosemont Horizon, and I was actually in the mezzanine level for that. Other than that, it's been nosebleeds for me, or like the lawn at Alpine Valley.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, that was the closest I'd ever been, and we pretty much maintained where we were for the most of the night, which was kind of cool because, like, I got to watch Brad experience PJ for the first time, all over again.
Yeah.
And there were times where I was looking at him like on your guys' last show when you pissed everybody off and did a Metallica show, which was awesome, by the way.
Oh,
it was a great episode.
Thank you. I was going to ask you if we could talk about the band that should not be on your show.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. No, we can talk about anything you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like how you were like describing how Lions, like, because he had never seen Metallica before. That was his first.
That was his first Metallica show. Yeah, I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, so he was how you described how like you just looked at him and for a moment there he was just completely slack-jawed and had his hand over his mouth.
Yeah.
There were a few times during the show where like I looked over and he was absolutely doing that.
Wow.
And, like, you could see him kind of getting misty in his eyes, like a little twinkle.
Yeah.
It was super cool that like I felt honored to be a part of that with him.
Yeah.
So, but that was a smoking set, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was just a killer show. They opened up with Wash, which, for those of you who are uninitiated, is a B-side from the Alive single. And, like, I thought that was one of those, like, what do you call it? That's one of those, like, bucket list songs to hear them play.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because
then they ended up doing. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say they don't play that very often, especially as an opener. Like you think you're gonna probably get Release, especially in Chicago, and then they play Wash, and that was like for me, like I knew that's like one of his favorite songs, so for them to open with it, I was kind of like feeling it for him down there because we couldn't see you guys. We were on the third baseline, kind of like in the second section up from the field. Not horrible seats, but baseball fields are not set up for concerts,
No.
So
not at all.
So,
but you know what though? I mean, it was still a pretty damn good show.
Oh yeah,
yeah, a cool venue too. Because I've seen the Foo Fighters at Wrigley twice.
Oh, cool.
And then I saw we went to I saw Green Day there.
Oh wow.
And that was just at the last time they'd played, and the last time they were there, and Green Day they were okay. So I've seen Green Day a bunch of times before, but that was like the one that I was just like,
I'm not super into them anymore. Like I think for me, American Idiot was like the last album that I really got into.
Totally. That one was good. I really like 21st Century Breakdown.
Really?
But they've released like 4 albums after that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I don't know. I guess I've just grown out of them. I love their early stuff.
Totally.
Like fucking love it. But
absolutely.
It's just not my thing anymore.
Right. Yeah, because like, I don't know. Like it was one of those. It was a great show. It was a higher energy show. But,
yeah.
There was a little. Like, I don't know about you, but when I go to a show and there's crowd. Like when the band starts doing crowd work, it's cool when they banter and like start talking every now and again, and they start maybe saying a little something about the song before they go, before they really kick it into the song. But it was like after every fucking song, Billy Joe was just like doing a call and response, like
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not Freddie Mercury,
Right.
dude.
Right.
Like, if you would have taken out all of the hey-ohs and throughout the entire show, they probably could have played like 5 more songs because their songs are like a minute and a half long.
Right.
But yeah, it was brutal. So
I saw them once in 95 or 90,
Okay.
94 at, oh God, like UIC Pavilion?
Right on.
Or that's outside, isn't it? This was at a college.
No, that's in no. UIC Pavilion's indoors.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where I saw them back. Like,
yeah,
it
I
had
might have been at that show.
It had to be
one.
Screeching Weasel was the opener.
Yeah, I think that was 95. That would have been the
yeah, it could have been
tour.
Yeah,
that was the Insomniac tour. Yeah, me and my best friend Eli. That was the first concert that he and I went to together.
Really?
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
They had like 3 albums worth of material, and they just blasted through it.
Yeah, and that again, that's like my favorite era of them.
Right.
So.
For sure. So yeah, but all right, back to Pearl Jam. Yeah, they opened up with Wash, which was crazy. Then they did Low Light, Elderly Woman. And I'm like, I dig Elderly Woman, but honestly, like, it's one of those songs that if they ever play it again, if I never heard it live again, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
But then, like, they blasted into Breaker Fall. God damn, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've got the set list up here.
I do too.
They did like Hail Hail, and then they did Getaway, which was cool because I hadn't seen. I've missed them on the last 2 bouts at Wrigley. Leaving Here, dude. Seriously, like, and I know people were kind of like pissy about it, but I was like, that's a killer song for one, and 2, like, it was a benefit album, for the Home Alive,
right?
For Mia Zapata, and like, dude, I never thought we would hear that live.
Yeah.
And then they did the Chris Cornell song. They did Missing,
mm-hmm.
and it looks like that was the last time they played it.
Oh, really?
They played it in Seattle. Yeah, they played it. They've only played it twice. They played it in Seattle for the August 10th show, and then they played it at the 18th.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Really cool song.
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't heard it until they played it in Seattle, and I heard the bootleg of it, and then we got it in Wrigley.
Right, totally. Then they did that tribute that they did to Tom Petty with "I Won't Back Down" was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I felt myself getting emotional. I've had the I was lucky enough to have seen Tom Petty a couple times live.
Oh, wow.
And, like, to hear Eddie sing it was just awesome.
And was that when he was playing Tom's guitar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a really cool moment.
Yeah, dude, and catch this. Like, I actually had the opportunity, and I've met Tom Petty in the Heartbreakers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Right after I got done in college, I was dating this girl, and she and I were. Sorry, I'm pouring myself a whiskey. But she and I were driving. We were up on the north side, up near Wrigleyville, right close to Clark and Belmont, and because we had just gone to the alley, of all places, and we were driving. And right there, I can't even remember the cross street. I'm not good with that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And especially in a neighborhood that's not my own or one that I've lived in or I'm used to. But it's where the old Chicago Instrument Exchange used to be. And as we're driving, mind you, we're doing like 35 heading north. And I look out the window, and I'm like, there's like this nondescript like white transport van. And all these dudes jump out of the van. I'm like, damn, that looks like Tom Petty.
No way.
Just out of the nowhere. I'm just looking out the window, and my ex-girlfriend was like, do you think it could be? I'm like, I don't know, maybe, whatever. So she like pulls over to the curb, and she's like, well, no, we've got nothing to do. Why don't you go check it out? I'm like, are you kidding me? She's like, no, go see what's up. So I walk in, and the Chicago Instrument Exchange, this was like at the original location, and they just had like all these ancient guitars. Like, it was all like classic instruments, like shit that's like you'd have to, like, for people like you and me, we would have to, we'd have to mortgage off our children,
right?
Like, their college fund in order to get a guitar from the shop. And damn it all, if I don't walk in and there's Tom Petty, Mike Campbell, and the rest
Holy
of the fucking Heartbreakers
shit.
just browsing around, so I try to play it cool and nonchalant, right? And
Right.
here I am, I'm like 20, 24, 25 years old, just kind of bumming around, touching a guitar here, like, oh yeah, that's a nice Martin D10, and then next thing you know, I walk up to him and I'm like, excuse me, are you Tom Petty? And he just looks at me and is like, every day of my life, kid.
Oh man.
Yeah, and at that point, I was just like, dude, I love your music. I was raised on your stuff, blah 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 blah, and I got his autograph and got Mike Campbell's autograph and stuff like that.
Oh,
that was just one of those weird, like, random coincidence moments.
Right.
That, like, the stars just aligned. I looked out of a window and I was like, oh shit, that
Right.
kind of looks like Tom Petty.
Wow.
So, yeah. But yeah, that's my Tom Petty story.
That's cool. Yeah, I never got a
Yeah.
chance to see them play, and I'm huge,
that's a
huge
bummer.
fan of those guys.
Absolutely. But yeah, then after that, they did I Won't Back Down. They did Can't Deny Me,
Yeah.
which was the new single that they had just put out, which was really cool. It was cool to see it live. And I would definitely say, because, like, didn't they do that with Olay? They put that out shortly before Lightning Bolt came out.
Right.
But I didn't think Olay was half as good as Can't Deny Me.
No, I mean, yeah, I love Can't Deny Me. Both those songs get a lot of shit, from the fans, but I don't think Olay is that bad, but
No.
I definitely think Can't Deny Me is way better.
Well, it's also one of those things, too, where you're like, why are you bitching? They just gave you a free single.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then, let's see, they ended the first set with Porch. Dude,
Right.
Porch is, like, one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, McCready just goes bonkers and
Yeah.
stretch that fucking song out to, like, 10 and a half
Yeah,
minutes.
I love it.
Yeah. And then they came back and did Just Breathe, which this song is still kind of growing on me. I'm not a huge Just Breathe fan. But I dig Willie Nelson and his son's cover of it.
Mm.
Have you heard it?
Mm-hmm.
I
I have.
Oh, I forgot. That's you're yes. Just so you know, Brad is like, that's a slow song. It's bullshit.
Right.
But, like, it makes for a good country song. Like, if you're looking for a good like classical country song, like, Just Breathe is a good classical country song.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy Eddie singing it for sure.
Right. Dude, then we got Footsteps.
Yeah.
Holy the shit.
Yeah.
Dude. And then we got Stayed in Love and Trust and Breath back to back.
Yes.
Dude.
That's
Like, I've seen them do those songs, like, individually at shows, but never seen them doing them, both of them at one show.
right.
Regardless of doing them back to
Right.
back.
Yeah.
And then they did, that. Let's see here, Encore 2, they did Rebel Rebel, the Bowie tune, which I
Right.
thought was really kind of cool. And then what is like Better Man when they did? It shows here SIFL. Like, what the fuck is that?
That's Save It for Later.
Okay.
That's the English beat song.
Okay, gotcha. Now, here, my buddy Bob and I were talking about it because during Daughter second night, they did It's Okay
Yes.
as the tag. What is that? Like, is it a song or is it just Eddie going, It's Okay? Is it
No,
a
it's
another song?
It is a song by a band called Dead Moon,
Okay.
and they're just a like super indie underground band that I'm sorry, but no one's ever heard of. It's one of those.
Right.
And
Except for Eddie.
Yes, yeah, and it's one of those songs that if you heard it right now, you would just be like, "What is this?" But Eddie somehow transforms it into this like just beautiful, uplifting, mantra of getting the whole crowd to sing back to him. I absolutely love that when they do that.
I've seen him tag it with It's Okay a couple times.
Oh wow! See, that was my first time, and I think they had done it in Seattle, and I was like, oh, please, please do it again. I mean, they're kind of known for not playing the same stuff over and over, so I was like,
Absolutely.
ooh, we might not get it, and then they did it, so I was pretty happy.
Let's see here. I'm trying to look at my my stats here for the shows that I've been to. Let's see. Let's go to Wisconsin because I actually went to first night of Pearl Jam 20.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was dope, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Oh, they did Better Man with with that tag.
Yeah. Yo, they do that a lot.
Not with It's Okay, but the
Save It for
English
Later
Beat song.
Yeah. Yeah. He breaks that out a lot with Better Man.
Interesting. Yeah, they did. That's when they did the. They did Stardog Champion.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys got the little Temple of the Dog reunion.
Of the Dog. Yeah, and I actually legit saw Temple of the Dog.
Right.
And they did Reach Down, Hunger Strike, and Say Hello to Heaven.
Yeah.
Dude, that
incredible.
My wife bought those tickets for me as like a wedding gift.
Yeah.
Right. And or is like an engagement gift, I guess.
Right.
Because we got married the following year, and it was one of those where, like, bless her heart, man. Like, she's not into my music.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Uh-huh.
I get it. You know,
Yeah.
It's cool, but like, she's had problems with chronic migraine, and she ended up having a migraine during that show.
Oh no.
So like I'm like just like shitting my pants over like, you know, Temple of the Dog coming out on stage.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ugh. And she could, like, for one, she couldn't have given a shit less.
Right.
And for two, she was just like in such miserable pain through that part of the show.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh man. But and it's funny because I've seen Chris Cornell with Temple of the Dog, and then I saw Chris Cornell with Audio Slave, but I never got to see him on his own or with Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
Mm. Yeah, I've been kicking myself. In 2016, I was offered tickets to the Temple of the Dog show in San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
When I was at the Wrigley shows in 2016, and I was offered. He was like, "Dude, if you can get there, I've got a ticket for you."
Wow.
And I was just like, I can't do it. I mean, I might be able to, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, there's no way. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
This is like the big, concert. Because, for me, it's like 8-hour drive from Tennessee up to Chicago. And I'm like, there's no way I can make San Francisco in a couple months. Right. And then,
it's a hell of a drive.
Yeah.
And flight, too.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
I mean, trying to fly into San Francisco is ridiculous.
Yeah. But now, of course, looking back, I'm like, I should have fucking made it happen.
Yeah, dude.
So.
Totally. Yeah, because it would have been interesting to see what they would have pulled out. Because, I mean, they only had an album's worth of material.
Right.
And, like, did you end up getting, like, the box set when it came out? Like the extended edition?
I've listened to it through Apple Music, so I've heard a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah, okay. Because it really didn't seem like they had a whole lot of extra. I think there was, maybe 2 extra songs that just didn't make the album.
Yeah. Yeah, those Temple of the Dog shows a couple years ago, those reunion shows, they played a bunch of Temple stuff, obviously, but they played a couple of Mother Love Bone songs, and then they pulled out some crazy shit.
Really?
I want to say they played Iron Man, a Harry Nilsson song.
Huh.
I mean, yeah.
No. Yeah, that's.
They played The Cure's "Fascination Street."
Oh my god!
Yeah.
To hear Chris Cornell sing that.
Yeah.
Was amazing.
Yeah. You know what? And it wasn't Iron Man. It was War Pigs. I mean, it's just some like crazy from left field covers.
Yeah. I think one of the times that I've seen Faith No More, and I've seen Faith No More twice.
Yeah.
Before they broke up the first time, but I saw them do their cover of War Pigs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, dude. Oh, damn. That's crazy. But no, you know what? I think it's interesting, and I don't think you guys have ever mentioned it before, but like at the end of a live, when they're doing it live, not a lot of times, but when Eddie starts going into the yeah, and getting the crowd going, Mike is actually playing the end part of Iron Man.
Yes. Yeah, I did not realize that until maybe like a year ago. Somebody pointed it out.
Yeah, he leads with that.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that you guys have never mentioned that on the show.
Yeah, we might have to.
Yeah, because that's crazy. Like
he will play. He'll sneak little licks in there from all different kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because and I dig Mike McCready, but I've seen him when he was kind of in his rough years too. And man, dude, there are some times where he's just sloppy.
Really?
Yeah, like when did he get really bad? Was it right around 2000?
Yes.
I want to say like between Yield and
yes.
Between Yield and Binaural.
Yeah.
And there were some times like when like he was just soloing and I'm like, dude, you're not even in the same key.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh. You listen back to some of those bootlegs, and granted those tours were great.
Yeah.
But you listen to some of those bootlegs back and you're like, "Oh, Mike."
Right.
Oh God, what were you doing?
Yeah. Now, how many times have you seen them?
I believe 13.
Okay. I'm catching up. I think Wrigley was 10 and 11 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen most of the Chicago shows post Wrigley Field or Soldier Field, I'm sorry.
Right.
So the ones that I didn't get to see was when they did that weird kind of one-off tour in 2006 after Avocado came out.
Yeah.
Like I saw them on the Avocado shows, and then like they came back like later that year. When was that?
I want to say 2006 wasn't 2006 when they played like the Vic and it was like the fan club show, or am I totally getting that wrong?
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't part of the fan club at that point.
Right.
Because I kind of like have weaved in and out of
I have too. Maybe I shouldn't say that as a Pearl Jam podcast co-host, but yeah, I've gone in and out.
Yeah. So no, it was let's see here. So they played those two House of Blues shows that benefited Pete Townsend's school.
Right.
They did it in 2002 and 2005, but those tickets were like $1,000 a piece, and I'm like, I like Pearl Jam, but I don't have $1,000.
Right. Yeah.
In 2007 they did Lollapalooza, and I could have gone, but I had a prior engagement. I couldn't make it. But it was the night before they did the Lollapalooza pre-show at the Vic.
Okay.
In 2007.
Yeah.
And then they did 2 shows at the United Center. It was 2009. It was to 2009. So that was they didn't even have an album out at that time.
No.
No. Because then it was 2010 when they came out with that was pre-Backspacer, I want to say.
I'm trying to think. Backspacer was 2009, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Maybe I missed it in No.
Oh, boy. I should know these things. See, this is why we need Lions.
Yeah, right. Oh, why am I in Kansas? I hit Indiana. Yeah, no. Backspacers was 2010, so they were touring prior to Backspacer.
Okay.
I think. Or it was like on the Backspacer tour, and I did not get to see them when they played at the United Center. But
right.
I was able to get there for to the Noblesville show.
Okay. Now
and that was actually.
Were you at United Center '98? I think yes. You've mentioned you were at that show. That was I think my third or fourth show, and that was like my favorite concert for a long time. Like that show was incredible.
Yeah, that's the first time that I got to, because that's when they did Daughter, but they also backed it up. They did as a tag Ray of Light by Madonna.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's also the first time that I saw that. What was that the one when they did it? Yeah, they did Off He Goes at that show. Oh, MFC. God damn.
Yeah.
When they play
Present Tense. I just for some reason specifically remember Present Tense. Probably because it was '98 and Yield had just come out, and that was like one of my favorite songs at the time.
Yeah. Totally. I think it was the 2003 show when they did. God, when was it that I saw him do? Or was it 2006? Yeah, maybe it was 2006. See, like they kind of all run together at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Because in 2006 they did Present Tense too. But I was living in the city for this one, And that's when they did, they did Comeback.
Oh, man.
They did Blood, and at the end of it, they tagged Atomic Dog by Parliament.
Wow.
Or George Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
And then on the 17th was when they did Crown of Thorns.
Wow.
Yeah, to end the second set, they did a 7-song second set. Last Kiss, Into Last Exit, Into Glorified G, Elderly Woman, Crown of Thorns, and then Rockin' the Free World and Yellow Lead.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude, ridiculous second set. Or second encore, I should say.
Yeah, everyone, everyone talks about MSG, New York, everything, but man, when they play Chicago, they play some crazy sets in Chicago.
They pull it out, dude.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So yeah, so then, all right, so back to our
yeah.
So we get done with the show, and then we all kind of like you guys went back to the car to like drop some shit off or something, and then we reconvene at the bar at what's the name of the bar? Mulligan's?
No, we were weren't we at Murphy's upstairs?
Murphy's, yes, because that's when that like we thought a fight was gonna break out. That chick was so wasted.
Yeah, something was wrong with that.
Like, and her husband was probably way wasted too.
Yeah, and the police were trying to like help her, and he was just like, "Don't touch her." Like it was.
Yeah, because the one bartender, the one chick that worked there, came over to her as well, and he's like, "Stop touching my wife!
Yeah,
don't touch her."
Yeah, it got intense there for a few minutes.
Yeah, like I don't understand getting that, like, because you knew that they went to the show,
right?
You knew that they were to the show. But I just cannot fathom getting that inebriated at a show.
Yeah. Now, how do you enjoy yourself?
Yeah. I mean, I went to see. I like I said, I followed Fish.
Right.
I never got that inebriated at a show.
Yeah.
Especially when beers are like what, $8 to $10 or $12.
Yeah.
And that's if you're like drinking, cheap beer. That's if you're drinking the Budweiser and the old style.
Yeah.
Like you want a good beer, you're paying like $16, $20
right.
for a good beer.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not paying that. No. So yeah, then we hung out there, and then, I went home, and then you guys had like a crazy experience the second night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was wild. The whole GA line and the rain.
So if you guys want to, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying the rain delay again, and it was nuts.
Yeah. So if you guys out there want to hear like a complete detailed experience of the Bradlingtons Chicago Pearl Jam experience, they actually released, what was it, a 4-hour pod?
Yes.
Dude.
It was kind of crazy, but we were like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's do it. And we just recounted the entire weekend.
Like an NPR style like documentary of the weekend.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I dug it.
Oh, well, thank you.
It was a lot of fun. So that, and I drive a lot for work too, so it's one of those where I'm like, all right, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to listen to this.
Yeah, I think we recorded like on the way up there, and then we recorded on the way home, and Brad was like, let's just throw it all in there. We don't want to like milk this for weeks,
Right.
So
yeah, totally. And what I've learned over the years of doing this, because I think I'm into my 3rd year of podcasting now, is that like if you have a uber long episode and you split the episodes in half, there is a law of diminishing returns on that second episode that you put out.
Yeah.
I've noticed that where just put the whole thing out. I don't care. Let's just do a 3.5 hour podcast, and we'll worry about everything else later.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that was a great weekend. I'm glad that I was able to experience it with you guys. I was glad that I was able to get you guys hooked up with a ticket for that.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much again. I mean,
no. It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
It was kind of hairy. I did not have my ticket for night 2. Pretty much up until the last minute.
I know. I remember you mentioning that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no. But you got in, and you even scored a floor seat for that night.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, how far back were you guys? I can't remember. you guys mentioning, because I know you got rail.
Yes.
And then the rain came, and they put you guys out into the bullpen.
Yeah.
And then Brad got puked on.
Yeah.
And then poor guy. Like, Brad's like such a sweetheart too, and then like just for that to happen to him, I felt so bad when he told that story.
Yeah, I felt bad because he was not into the whole rail experience of waiting in the line and then all that stuff. He was cool once we got the rail, but then when the rain happened and they made us leave, and it was just such a clusterfuck. I felt horrible for both him and Kate. So
right. But you got an insane show.
Yeah, we did. We got a pretty good show. We were probably not too far from where you guys were. I don't know if we were,
really?
50 feet from the front, but we were from what Brad Lyons was saying is we were not too far back from where you and him were for night one.
Nice, yeah, right between Jeff and Mike.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, and they came out with they opened with "Given to Fly," which was pretty amazing. And those first 6 or 7 songs, they just it was just punch after punch. I mean, they didn't let up for the first 6 or 7 songs, which is what we all needed after waiting for the rain delay for like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was funny because like I remember listening to you guys up until the show. And, it's very well documented that they, for whatever reason, after 98, like, when they do their songs live now, like, it's on 11.
Right.
They up the tempo so much. But I really felt like our night, I felt that they were really loose. It looked like they were having a good time. I didn't feel like they were really speeding up the songs like they usually do.
Right.
Like, I thought everything was pretty well accounted for and very, pretty, even pace.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, they played those 2 nights in Seattle, and then they played the Missoula, and then they came to Chicago. So I think they had a few nights to get the jitters out,
right.
To get the rust off of them, and then they came to Chicago. So I think we got some good shows.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, So then you guys had your second night experience, and despite the rain, you guys got a killer show. You even got an evil little goat.
Yes, that was fun.
Like, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But now that looking back on it, seeing as the Cubs did not make it to the World Series last year, maybe they should not have brought out the evil little goat.
Yeah, you never know.
So, but you guys are also huge Metallica fans.
Yes.
As well, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, so you just saw, 2 shows? You went to Birmingham and then saw them again in Tennessee?
Yes, in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, and
were those your first Metallica?
That was my second and third Metallica show,
mm-hmm.
which is crazy because, I mean, I'm just as big a fan of Metallica as I am of Pearl Jam. And I have been since like 88 when Injustice for All came out.
Sure.
And I don't know why I do know why. I've thought about this in the last little bit, but I think when I was a little young to be going to shows like when the Black Album came out, like
sure.
I didn't, I just didn't go to shows when I was a teenager until I got a little bit
mm-hmm.
older. And then I don't love the Black Album, and I don't love the Load albums. So I kind of think...
Yeah, Load and Reload are not not in my
yeah.
wheelhouse.
I mean, I like some of those songs, but I like Metallica, the thrash band,
Sure.
So I kind of, the 90s and 2000s, I still kept up with them, but
mm-hmm.
just never went to see them.
Yeah,
but the last couple albums, they've kind of like come back to being a little more thrashy. They're kind of more a mix of everything.
Sure.
And I'm like, I just...
Yeah, Death Magnetic was like... I always say, like, Death Magnetic was... If you decided to remove... If you were listening to Injustice for All and paused it and forgot that like everything happened between that and Death Magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
Death Magnetic is a great sister album.
Yeah,
too.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, damn, they're back to form.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
definitely.
Except for that whole like domestic abuse song, I was not a big fan of that one.
On Death Magnetic.
The end that what is it? The end that never comes or whatever it is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The day that never.
The day
comes,
that never comes.
The name of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song's kind of bullshit. But like, once it finally gets to the end and like starts thrashing, it's cool. But it's like, all right, Metallica, can you just talk about war on a third grade level and leave the like social issues behind you? Come on, you were talking about doing cocaine on Master of Puppets.
Yeah, when they came back out with those albums, I'm like, I need to go see them, and I'm still kicking myself because they played Nashville in 2009, and I didn't go to that show. But they had Lemmy come out and play 2 or 3. Oh, nice. Their encore was 2 or 3 Motorhead songs with Lemmy.
Oh,
and I was now I'm just like, what the fuck?
Totally.
So yeah, 2017 was the first time I saw them.
Damn. Yeah, I saw them. It was right around the time where S&M came out because they toured right after that.
Oh, wow.
S&M, Garage Inc. Both of those came out right around the same
time.
I
want to say that's 99, 2000.
Yeah. So I saw them back to back on that tour. Like, I went 2 nights.
Oh, wow.
And it was the first time that they'd ever played Trapped Under Ice live.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. It was ridiculous. And then the next time I saw them was on the... St. Anger tour.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen them since. But it looks to be that, like, their stage setup hasn't really changed. Like, they're still playing in the round. The stage itself is pretty much the same, but it looks like the lighting and some of the production stuff has changed a bit. But, like, when I saw them on St. Anger, they came out, and they had, like, 4 light posts at like on the 4 corners of the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, if that's all the lighting that they use, this is going to be amazing.
Right.
And then they went into total Metallica production, light show, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of bogus. But, like, if they would have just come out there and played to those 4, like, lamp posts,
right,
dude, that would have been killer.
No,
but it was a great show.
They've got this crazy stage production with these cubes, these like giant cubes. You guys talking about yeah. It's pretty cool, and it's pretty like I don't know, intense. Like these cubes they're bouncing up and down on, and they've got different stuff on them, and then those like moth drones is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm going to have to YouTube that because I haven't had a chance to see it. So, but I liked your analogy of like, it's like when you're taking a picture of the supermoon with your iPhone, and you're like, wow, this looks awesome from here, and then it's a speck on your phone.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what was the, like, I know you guys have talked to, you were on the Metal Up Your Podcast show,
right?
And then you guys, did an entire episode for SPT. But for you, what was the highlight of the 2 shows that you saw? What was, if you had to pick like a moment from the Birmingham and the other one from the Nashville show, what would you say?
Birmingham was definitely when they played Creeping Death.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I mean, that's up there with like my all-time favorite Metallica song.
Sure.
And I didn't know if they were going to play it or not. And they didn't play it. The first time I saw them was in St. Louis, like 2 years ago. And they didn't play it at that show, and I was pretty bummed. So
that's crazy. That's like their like signature.
Yeah,
we're almost about to be done with the show.
I think they played it to death, and no pun intended. Yeah. But they brought it back in the last few years, but they don't play it every night. It kind of rotates. Right. And they had played it the show before in Little Rock, and I've thought, oh shit, maybe they're gonna rotate it out and not play it in Birmingham, but we got it, and I was just fucking psyched. So
very cool. What about Nashville?
Nashville probably. Oh god, I mean, just off the top of my head, they do those doodles where it's just Kirk and Rob playing, and they played just the two of them played Dyer's Eve.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm just, dude, like, And Justice for All is like, that's like my thing.
Your album.
Yeah. So to anything off that album.
That was the Cliff Burton song, isn't it?
No, that's
To Live Is to Die.
No, that's To Live Is to Die. God, that'd be fucking amazing too if they played that.
Sure.
So no, but hearing that, and they also played Harvester of Sorrow that night. So that was again,
nice.
And then they played Blackened. So it's kind of like, man, they were hitting Injustice for All kind of hard.
Nice.
So for me, that was
dude,
fucking perfect.
Absolutely. And I dig it, the fact that, like, their shows they do like Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they take as much care in crafting each individual set list per city like Eddie does.
Right.
But at least if they're not playing the exact same set every night of the tour.
Yeah, they do this interesting thing where they've got, I think it's 3 or 4 like rotating slots. So like the fourth song will be one of 4 or 5 songs, and then the sixth song is one of, like, that's like the reload slot, like one song from load or reload. And then the encore, they always start the encore with like one of their heaviest, thrashiest songs, like Blackened or Battery, or what's the one on Hardwired, Spit Out the Bone. So they do try to, like, if you go see them 3 or 4 nights straight, you're gonna get a pretty good rotation of all those songs. But then you do get, they kind of do have a stock in those other slots that they play every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you got to hit your core songs.
Right.
Like, I mean, it wouldn't be a Pearl Jam show if you didn't hear, like, Corduroy.
Right.
Because they've played that every single show since the album.
Right.
Since they got committed to album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not like you're going to go to a show, and a Metallica show, and, not hear Sandman.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, like, I dig that. Like, the thing that bummed me out was, like, after I saw the Foo Fighters this last time at Wrigley, and I went on setlist.fm, and I'm like, God damn, like, with the exception of, like, 4 songs, you guys play the same fucking set every night. That's got to get boring.
Yeah.
Like, you have such a wealth of songs, and, why wouldn't you dip into it?
Yeah.
So, but, so let's talk, Saint Anger.
Okay.
I mean, that's like, of all of the Metallica albums, like that one and S&M are the 2 that get dogged the most.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Oh, Saint Anger. I don't hate it like some fans do, but I really don't love it. I mean, I like, overall, the biggest issue I have is, like, Lars is like a genius at crafting songs. Like,
sure.
Excuse me. The way he puts, the verses and the choruses and the bridges, like, there's an art to what he does with those songs.
His arrangements.
Yeah, and the arrangements on Saint Anger are just like, those songs don't end. And I love a good 7-8 minute, prog metal song. Like, that's why I love Injustice for All. But man, those songs on Saint Anger they just keep going, and it's like, okay, stop the song right here, and then they do 2 more choruses. And it's like, okay, now we'll quit, and then you get another verse. So you have to do another chorus, and it's like, man, what is happening with these arrangements? That's like overall. And I do not care about Lars's his snare drum on that album. Like,
yeah, he took the snare off.
Yeah, and that does not bother me. Like, it really doesn't bother me. I know most people, that's like their biggest problem with it, but that don't bother me. It's more the arrangements. Like, these songs don't know when to end, and most of the songs I don't like anyway. But I mean, I like Frantic.
Dude, Frantic is a dope
Yeah,
band, man.
Frantic, Saint Anger. God, see, I don't even know. What are some of the other songs on there?
Like Sweet Amber.
No, hate it.
The song about the song about beer.
Right.
Like we know what this song is all about. Come on. Man.
Yeah, I don't like that one. What's the one? Some Kind of Monster. I like Some Kind of Monster.
Some Kind of Monster. Yeah, that was a good one.
But yeah, Dirty Window. No.
Well, I think a lot of it with that album, because I don't mind the record. Like, I would actually put that one on before I would listen to Load or Reload for sure. 100%. I just can't. Like, I think Load and Reload was like Metallica was like, all right, you know what? We've toured with COC a few times. Let's make an album to sound ourselves like to sound like COC.
Yeah.
And I think between the two records, you could probably pare it down and get one really solid album.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Dirty Window was Invisible Kid.
No, man.
My World was kind of cool. I dug My World. Shoot Me Again.
Yeah. It's
The Unnamed Feeling.
Unnamed Feeling is badass. I do like that song.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. Purify was okay.
Yeah.
Like if it was another band that had done it, it would have been a great tune.
I
really dug All Within My Hands, the closer.
That song's all right. I don't know. Some of James's vocals, where he's just screaming his lungs out. I'm not into it, and I get it.
Fills this room.
What's that?
He said you're screaming. You're like you said some. You said that he's screaming his lungs out, and I'm like, till it fills this.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just that what do they call that? He's just like wailing, like in an empty room to get to his feelings or whatever.
Right.
Those screams are just I'm not feeling it. And I get it. I mean, he was going through some shit, and I do love that.
Oh, yeah, the whole band.
Yeah. And I give him credit for going through that and putting it out there, but I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think that one. I mean, because that was the final Bob Rock album that they did too.
Yeah,
because he actually played bass on the record.
Right.
I'm like, and like it's because if you watch the Some Kind of Monster documentary, it was like. He weaseled his way into the band, and it felt like the psychologist was that they hired in to get them through their issues. Like he was kind of weaseling himself into the band, and everybody was writing lyrics. I'm like, just don't do that.
Yeah, it's that being said, that documentary is incredible. Like that, I can't recommend that enough if people haven't seen it. And you don't even have to like Metallica. I mean, it's just an incredible document of 4 friends going through some shit, Oh,
yeah, because I forgot that because they do talk about the when they fired Jason.
Yeah, that's a whole thing in the movie. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Robert Trujillo, but they did Jason wrong.
Yeah.
Just because, look, he's a creative dude. And they fired him because during Metallica's off time, he wanted to do another project.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude, really?
Yeah, that whole story is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Did you see that Metallica just put out a new album?
The acoustic? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I listened to a snippet of their version of Disposable Heroes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck did you do to this song? Like, Disposable Heroes is one of my favorite tracks off of Master of Puppets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too.
And I'm like, ooh, this one's going to sound cool. And I'm like, why are you just strumming?
Yeah.
This is weird.
Well, I think,
I
don't know. I think they were, because it's, they get a pass because it was a charity event.
Gotcha. Was it like the Bridge School?
No, this is their own charity, which is the All Within My Hands Foundation.
Fair enough. Okay. Right on. Yeah, because I listened to a bit of it. I'm like, this is really interesting, and it was like really like under the radar too. They weren't even like, hey, look what we just put out.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it came out. I know, I remember hearing about the concert, a few months back, and I think I saw that they were putting it out on vinyl, and I thought, oh, that's
really?
like a cool treat.
Sure.
And I'm just not a vinyl guy. It's just
Sure.
I can't get into collecting because then I'll have to have like every single vinyl ever made. So I can't get into it. I want to, but I just can't. Like, it'll drive me insane.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I get it.
If I had started 20 years ago, like it would be awesome to have everything on vinyl. But anyway, yeah, I saw that vinyl was coming out, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I was.
So is it only a vinyl only release aside from digital?
No, because that's what I'm saying. Like 2 days ago, I noticed it on Apple Music, and I'm like, holy shit!
Right.
Like I can listen to this, and I think I listened to it at work the other day. Like when I saw it, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, it's interesting to like. I'll be, I'll probably download it and just listen to it later.
Yeah.
But just to hear the different arrangements.
Yeah.
Because I mean, trying to do thrash on acoustic instruments is definitely going to be something to behold.
Oh
sure.
yeah, it's different.
Yeah, no doubt. So, let's see, what else have we got? What else did I tell you before we started rolling?
Fish. You mentioned Fish a few times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did. You were nice enough to send me a playlist because I had never. I realized this a few weeks ago. I think me and Lyons were talking about it. It came up on the show. Yeah. I don't know that I've ever heard a Fish song. I'm aware of Fish, because I'm not like a jam band person. And that's all I know about them. They're just, they're hippie jam band. Like, you got to be on drugs to appreciate it. And I'm like, I'm not into it. So,
right.
I think you heard that and ran with it and sent me a playlist. And I listened to it. When did I? You know what? I think I listened to that. I did. I listened. Strangely,
you said you were driving.
I was driving to my Metallica weekend. So the last thing you'd expect me to be listening to get ready for Metallica was the Fish playlist you sent me. And I have to tell you, I was very pleasantly surprised. I don't know, I did not finish it, but I listened to at least an hour of it, maybe an hour and a half, because it's about 2 hours in Nashville.
Yeah, I tried to keep it like as succinct as I possibly could.
Well, I was curious if because I think you know me a little bit through the show, through the podcast. I'm metal, and it seems like you top loaded this thing with more of like rock songs. If Fish could be classified as having rock songs, unless they all kind of sound like that, but I don't know.
They kind of span the board. I mean, they've got. They've got their mellow songs. They've got, like, they went through this weird era of, like, funk country. Like, but it's cooler than you think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then they did, like, a whole, like, an album and a tour for an era that was more funky than anything, And that's the era of Fish that I got into, was when they were in that funk era. Because, dude, I love some funk music.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think I kicked it off with Exzilla, which is one of my favorite songs, dude. The riff in that song is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did kind of, because I listened to Lyons talk. He's like, "Oh man, it's gonna take the right person to like put this thing together."
Yeah, dude. I think you hit it on the head for me, because I really did like. I was really surprised at how much. Like rock music. It's way more rock music than just like hippie noodling jammy type stuff. Which I'm sure they have stuff like that, but
but like they've got stuff that's like they're more jazz,
Mm-hmm.
then I would
Yeah.
say like hippie.
Yeah.
You know, like I would take them and put them more in like with, you know, I don't know, like a jazz quartet.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would put them in with like the Grateful Dead.
Right.
You know, they do have like a couple bluegrass songs in their arsenal, and you know, they're one of these bands that like the music that they have on their albums is only like a third of all of the songs that they have at their disposal.
Yeah.
You know, they have songs that they've been playing for 30 years that have never, like, it's their song, they wrote it. They've never committed them to album,
Really?
like in a studio. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
See, and
like,
that's
their catalog is just ridiculous.
That's kind of cool for like the fandom. Like you got to be a real fucking true fan to get to know those kind of songs.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, you know, like, you know, they've got a punk song that it's called "Big Black Furry Creature from Mars."
Now that I'll be honest, that was one I didn't love.
Really?
Yeah,
that's funny because it's one of those when they pull it out, they only play it like once or twice a tour.
Oh wow!
So it's a real treat when they pull it out because, you know, there's 4 guys in the band. You've got Trey plays guitar and they all sing, but Trey plays guitar. You've got Mike Gordon playing bass, Paige McConnell playing keyboards, and Jonathan Fishman who plays drums. But like the unsung 5th member of the band is I want to say his name is Chris Caruta. He's their lighting director. The light show, like even if you're, because I've seen, you know, Fish in various states of mental consciousness, and I've seen them stone sober.
Right.
And like their light show is second to none.
Yeah.
And like it fits lockstep with the music. And Fish is definitely one of these bands that you go to see them on a 3-night run, you will not hear the same song twice.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you do, there's something about the song that you hear on Monday night that on Tuesday night, if they play it, it's going to sound a bit different.
Yeah.
Or a lot different, you know. So, yeah, they're fucking amazing.
Yeah, but now after listening to them, I could totally see going to see them. I mean,
they're playing a 3-night run at Alpine Valley and trying to get at least one show in.
Man, I would love to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can get away.
Yeah, right. Well, they're playing Nashville too, or they're playing close to you.
Oh, really? I wonder if it's
I believe so.
I wonder if it's Bridgestone or if it's do they usually play outside or they play arenas?
Yeah, well, for their summer tours they usually do play outside. For fall and winter, obviously.
Might be that Ascend. There's a place called Ascend Amphitheater.
Right on.
But
yeah, I haven't. I'm not. You know, I'd try to pull it up on my computer right now, but I know that if I do, like something is going to start playing in the background. It's going to get picked up on the show, and I'm not paying royalties.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, dude, they're just incredible live.
Yeah.
Like the first time I ever saw them. Because they do 2 sets. It's an evening with Fish. It was kind of like how Pearl Jam plays. You know, like they don't have an opening band. 1 set, 2 sets, and then they do a single song encore. Now, that single song encore could be a 25-minute jam, you know. But the first night I ever saw them, the second set, they took Led Zeppelin's Moby Dick, and they wove that through the entire second set.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now, like when you guys talk, when you know, listening to to SPT, you know, you're like, oh man, they did Corduroy into, you know, Elderly Woman into this, and I'm thinking like Fish fans talk in the same terms,
right?
But difference being is when they say like, oh dude, we got Gaiuti into Colonel Forbin's Ascent into, you know, Chalk Dust Torture. Like, literally, there's no break between songs. They find a key, and they just blend, like, they jam one song right into another. So that's how they did this Moby Dick set. It was ridiculous. I've never seen a band do anything like it before or since.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, all of a sudden they'd be playing a song, and then you hear dun 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 dun, and then, like, you know, Fishman would go, like, just do this crazy fucking solo, and John Fishman never does just a drum solo. He's like, yeah, that's boring. People want to go get a beer.
Right.
I was just completely like in the palm of his hand.
Right. Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, dude. So yeah, man, if you want to go see Fish, man, I know you had I can't remember who reached out to you, but if you want to go see Fish, man, I will totally go see Fish with you.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see what's going on that weekend.
Yeah, because sometimes you absolutely need a Sherpa to take you through.
Yeah,
show.
that's yeah. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not like, oh my god, like forget Pearl Jam, I'm into Fish, you know. But I kind of get it now, you know, that like, oh, they're not just, you know, up there noodling, like they're playing some pretty intricate stuff.
Yeah. If you want to ever get like a great idea of what a Fish show is all about and what Fish really are all about, you should check out a documentary they put out called Bittersweet Motel.
Okay.
And it kind of goes through the process of them writing the Farmhouse album, rehearsing. It gets some live stuff in there. And then it talks about, I think it was The Great Went, which was almost every year they do a festival, like a 3-day show.
Right.
And you know, there are other bands that do play it, so it's not like you're just hanging around for hours and hours and hours waiting for Fish to play. But they do have like all kinds of crazy shit going on, and then they'll like do like the last night they do 4 sets.
Wow.
Yeah, and again through the entire weekend, usually never
the same. Right. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, so it's really cool, and they talk to a lot of the fans, and like there's this one hippie kid that's like, nah, dude, I see Fish sober. I never get high when I go see Fish. You know, and it's like, it was truly like one of those transcendent experiences the first night I ever saw Fish. It really was. Like it just completely opened you up to a whole new world. It was like when I saw the Beastie Boys for the first time. I was like, this is what music could be like? Holy shit. Like I had no idea. So, but yeah, man. What else has been catching your ear? I see you've been listening to a lot of bass.
Yeah, I just saw them actually live in Nashville. They did an acoustic tour, and the Nashville show was the final one.
Oh, very cool. What would you like? I've never heard them before. The only reason I brought it up is because I saw it on Apple Music. I'm like,
yeah.
Again. What would you consider them? Like what genre would you consider them to be? Like with a name like Bayside, I'm thinking Southern California punk rock. Like pop punk.
They're kind of pop punk, but you know what it is? Their guitar player Jack comes from, he's like a metal kid. So it's like pop punk songs, but with these like insane metal leads. Really? Yeah, it's really interesting. You just hear like, you know, pop punk, and then when the solo comes up, it sounds like Kerry King playing with a pop punk band. Yeah. Really? And it's just super upbeat songs, basically lyrically crying about, you know, girls. So it's just, you know, emo pop punk. Their last album is called Vacancy, and it's about, every single song is about the lead singer. He wrote it like within the first few months of breaking up with his wife, like all the stuff about being divorced, and he's like pretty open and honest lyrically. It's pretty crazy, and they've kind of gotten, just like every band, they've gotten less and less, you know, heavy. You know what I mean? They've grown. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like the last album is definitely not very pop punk. It's more just like rock music, and that was the first album I heard, and I really liked it. Really? And then I went back to the beginning, and I'm like, oh, like this shit is, you know, because I love like pop punk music. And I was like, oh, like I love this. Like their like second, third, fourth album is just like incredible albums.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, I saw you had the playlist that's up there. I'll have to definitely check it out. Nice. So, let's see here. Let's do some pop goulash questions. What would you say? What was the last album you listened to front to back?
Oh,
I'm gonna steal I listen to another podcast and they always have like a lightning round, so I'm gonna fuck with you on that.
I listened to, it was Tom Petty. God, what was the album? It's hard to let me see here. Wildflowers. Tom Petty. No. Hold on. It was the She's the One soundtrack.
Oh, nice. Where he does the cover of Beck's Ass.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. It was totally the song was called Asshole, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah, and it was a Beck song. Beck wrote it, never recorded it, and yeah, it was totally.
Oh
that.
wow, I did not know that.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. What have you been? What was the last movie you watched?
Oh God, last movie I watched. I think Black Panther.
Ooh, good one.
I did not love it.
Really?
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm not really a comic book superhero movie guy. I like some of them. I'm real picky about the ones I like and don't like.
Sure.
But everyone talked about how great that movie was, and you have to watch it. And I think that might have had something to do with why I wasn't super impressed, because the hype just kind of killed it for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, because it did get just got nominated.
Yeah, I
I
saw that. I'm like, maybe I should watch it again.
Yeah, I dug it. It was a good movie. It was one of those that I actually saw in the theater. I'm a comic book guy.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Anytime those movies come out, I'm like, dude, I gotta.
Yeah, I'm super hit and miss. Like I don't get the Avengers. Like I don't understand why those movies make so much money.
Yeah, it's you know what, the way that I look at it is comic books are the American mythology.
Yeah.
You know, like, because we didn't have much mythology on our own.
Right.
You know, we're not the Greeks. We don't have Zeus
right.
and Thor, or we don't have Zeus and Athena and all that. We're not Norse. We don't have Thor and Odin and all that. But we have comic
You know what? Speaking of that, it wasn't Black Panther. It was Glass. That was the last movie I saw.
Oh, okay.
Now, I loved that.
Yeah, you know
I
what?
loved Glass.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You're the first person I've talked to so far that has, like...
Yeah, dude.
Because, I mean, obviously it's a sequel to Unbreakable and
Right.
Split.
Which, those are two movies that I love, so...
Yeah, dude, Split
was incredible. Yeah, I wouldn't say Glass was better than it, but I enjoyed it. But yeah, Split was really incredible.
Nice. Yeah, I'm doing 2 episodes tomorrow night with my buddy Tom, who does my Netflix and chill episodes with me. He went to go see it.
Oh, cool.
Weekend, so I'm gonna tap him on it just to see what he thinks, because you know, he's a big fan of those 2 movies as well. So, but yeah. Yeah, cool. I'm glad to hear a positive review on it, because it's definitely one that I would love to see.
Well, when you start talking about the themes of, like, comic books are our mythology, I mean, that's a theme in the movie Glass. So I was like, oh, that's right. Really? I just saw that.
Yeah, because Sam Jackson, I remember in Unbreakable, was totally all about it. He was like, no, you know, this is art, and this is this, and this is that,
yeah,
blah 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 blah
yeah.
blah. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that pans out. I definitely that's on my list of movies that I definitely want to see. You've seen Split?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
dude, Split was
incredible. That actor,
James McAvoy, should have gotten
totally.
Yeah, because he was just fantastic. Just to be able to pull off so many different characters like that, dude.
Yeah, and you really,
nice.
I mean, you do think those are different people. Like, he fucking nails the physicality of being a different person. It's insane.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, and then when he does, like, when he's the Beast,
right?
Like, dude, holy shit, man. Like, it was so good. So, all right. Let's see here. So we did last album, last movie. Are you currently into binging any particular TV show, or what is the what is your favorite TV show currently?
Wow, what am I watching right now? Geez.
I really need to write these questions down so I have, so I'm better prepared. But whatever.
I've been trying to watch the new season of True Detective, but it just is like super boring. Yeah,
really?
It's not grabbing me, and I'm someone that liked season 2. Like season 1 is
Season
1 is like up there with the most incredible TV shows of all time.
Ever.
And
Absolutely.
Season 2 just can't stand up to it, but like nothing can. So if you try to watch it as like this is something different, like I liked it a lot, and I was excited when the trailers came out for this new season, and it's just boring. Like I'm just so bored, and I want it to be great, and it's just boring. The actors are really good, but the story is it's so slow.
Maybe it's one of those that like because we're like 4 episodes, 5 episodes.
Yeah, in? I think they're 4 or 5 in. Yeah.
Well, hopefully
maybe it'll pick up, because I know that was kind of a complaint with the first 2 seasons too.
Oh,
but man,
yeah, because the first season was totally a slow burn. And you're like, what is this guy's deal?
Yeah, but there was something about it that kept me like super interested.
Well, it was just it was like everything was so nihilistic, and everything had such this like everything was like this metaphysical. And what's
they had a word for it too.
It was such an existential crisis through the entire show.
Psychosphere or something like psychosphere, something like that.
Something, but it was one of those that just it gripped you, And I was hoping, since they took like 4 years from season 2 to season 3, that like it would have picked up. But I don't know. I don't have HBO. I've gotten an HBO Go password, so I'm hoping at some point that I'll be able to sit down and start watching this stuff, but you can't really watch it with a 4-year-old.
No.
So, all right, dude. Well, dude, thank you for coming on tonight.
Oh, no problem.
I truly appreciate it. Like, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally.
And I hope the next time that I'm able to get you on, I'm able to get Lions in as well. That would be fantastic, But yeah, dude, anytime you want to come on and just shoot the shit about music or movies or TV shows or whatever, feel free, man. Just let me know, and you're more than welcome to
definitely, dude.
Anytime you want.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on SPT too. We need to start getting people
I'll
on.
Be more than glad. Right? Yeah, dude, man. Anytime, just give me a call. I'll be more than glad to do anything.
All right.
For you guys. So, but dude, before we go, I got to get a bit of slide whistle.
Oh God.
If it ain't nearby, that's fine. I'll
dude, the slide whistle is always on hand. Don't let me. I'm gonna set the phone down because I don't want to blow your ears out.
No, it's all good. So we
just do a little.
Everybody out there, Brad has a.
There you go.
That's
little slide whistle flourish.
Dude, yeah. So just so you know, like, Brad will bust out this slide whistle, and it just completely annoys the shit out of Brad Lyons. It's the best thing ever. So you have the slide whistle. We have the shitty flute. Have you heard shitty flute?
No, I have not heard shitty flute.
Okay. Go on YouTube and just type in shitty flute. And basically, this dude takes a recorder and plays like a backing like karaoke track, and just off key starts blowing into a flute, like usually the vocal melody of it. So, and that's usually the episode of Pop Goulash that I point people to like that's like the point where the show really started getting good with my previous co-hosts, because like. Dude, we played so much shitty flute on that show. Like, oh my God, it was ridiculous. So. But yeah, dude, the slide whistle is like the best part. Every time you bust that out, and Brad like just totally like just you can just tell. You can see his skin. You can feel through his voice, his skin
Yeah.
crawling.
Oh, dude, and I get like so excited, and I'm trying not to laugh because I know it's coming, and I try to
Right.
I try to stick it in there where he's not aware that it's coming. So
Nice. Well, if the next whenever you guys need to have me on or want to
Yeah.
have me on or whatever, my kid has a slide
oh
whistle.
yes, dude. All right.
And I will totally bust that
Yes,
shit out. 'Cause
please.
you know what? I know Lions is not
Right.
listening to this shit right now. Oh, man. But no, dude, this has been a blast, dude. I totally appreciate you coming
Oh,
on the
no
show
problem.
tonight. So, all right, kids, for Pop Goulash this week, I'm Ruben.
And I am Brad B.
All right. Be kind to one another. And that's a wrap, kids.
Cool, man.